Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the November 21st, 2020 edition of Pro Wrestling Throwdown. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke, the Big Dog Williams, our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury. And fellas, it is time to talk about wrestling. Luke, how are you this Saturday?
I'm doing good. How are you this Saturday?
Buddy, I'm living the dream.
Sure are. Glad you could dress up to be here.
living the soaked dream. Max, how are you today?
Shitty!
How come, Max?
I got hit on my way here.
And it was her new car, no less.
Yeah.
In the bed that you shared, no less.
I'm good, though. I'm okay. I didn't get hurt.
Yeah, Max.
Everything was actually, it wasn't that bad. It was all right. But yeah, I got hit on the way here.
He did.
So
he filed his insurance.
I'm good. I'm
did it the right way.
Ready to,
Ready?
Yeah, I didn't have any, but nobody tried to steal my insurance papers. Luckily.
It's a good thing you had that passport.
All right, y'all. Well, it is time to get into the business of wrestling in What's News in Wrestling for this week. Not a whole lot new going on, but we have... Max, how are you? Shitty! Not a whole lot of news, but we do have some stuff to touch on. First and foremost, in December, the WWE will be leaving the current stadium they're in with the Thunderdome and moving to the stadium in Tampa Bay for the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tropicana Fields will be welcoming the Thunderdome. And it's going to be interesting. Number one, the seating for a baseball stadium is significantly different than a basketball stadium. Number two, I'm curious to see the rig.
Well, here's the deal. The reason that they're moving it to Tampa Bay is because WrestleMania is going to be held in Tampa Bay again this year.
Yes, it is.
It's easier for them to be able to be like, bring your tickets here.
Yeah.
And we will, from last year or whatnot. It's in the same region. They're right there for Thunderdome.
Yeah.
So everything's already going to be set up. It's simpler. Plus, like you said, baseball stadium, you're going to be able to set many more people safer away from each other, so you'll get the opportunity.
And they'll have the 25% capacity law. I think still that's what it is now. It might change.
That's how it is. That's how it is here.
Right.
50%, I believe, there.
So Vince will actually be able to have some live fans. It's an outside venue in Florida, so we don't have to worry about weather. And we finally get people back in the stands.
And the Royal Rumble, because of the fact that it's through the Thunderdome, where they're doing the Thunderdome, will take place.
Buddy, talk about the Royal Rumble. Can't wait. What else we got in the news today?
The New Day.
New Day?
Actually have playable, downloadable content through Gears of War 5?
Yeah, the new Gears of War.
I think is where they're at. That would mean that they are joining Dave Bautista and his character work on Gears of War 5.
It's interesting that the video game deal comes after the Twitch fallout with the WWE, obviously the live streams, but the New Day has theirs protected in their contracts.
Right.
So it would be very cool.
Well, Xavier Woods does.
Yeah, it would be very cool to tune into an Xavier Woods stream with him playing as himself in Gears of War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's like the creator wrestler.
Pick, and I'm going to play me.
Why the hell wouldn't I? Or he's playing like Kofi because his character sucks. That'd be even funnier.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Question, knock.
Who's there?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg who?
Snoop Dogg and The Undertaker have a t-shirt line now.
That was a terrible knock-knock.
I know, but it's newsworthy.
It's true. Snoop Dogg and The Undertaker, the weirdest pairing since Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart, have produced a line of merchandise for the WWE together, citing that The Undertaker has been a part of the wrestling business for 30 years.
Plus
30 years. Snoop Dogg has been part of the rap business, or rap game, whatever the kids call it. But the better part of 27 years.
Yes.
So the OG and the OD, the original Gangsta and the original Deadman, have teamed up, which is a marketing cash grab that normally I would just consider horritry.
Yeah, but with Sasha Banks being Snoop Dogg's cousin and Snoop Dogg being in the Hall of Fame, it's not that far of a stretch.
No, it's not. And, again, we always talk about how wrestling needs that outside influence, that extra marketability.
Right.
And through the pairing with Snoop Dogg, obviously they're getting that again. I think it's a giant cash grab, but you have to admire the hustle of Snoop Dogg to work his way into $1 billion company to make a t-shirt.
Well, you've got to look at it this way, though. With cash, speaking of cash grab, The Undertaker is now on Cameo now.
Yeah.
WWE is
the WWE version of Cameo.
30 appearances.
Yeah.
30 times for Cameo, $1,000.
$1,000 a piece to have The Undertaker say "rest in peace." Essentially on your phone.
I don't know. If I had $1,000 to blow in at the time of a pandemic,
I mean, It is interesting, though, the 30 appearances. So he's going to make 30, because let's face it, there are going to be eccentric wrestling fans who buy it.
Oh, sure.
And because it's a limited appearance, obviously it becomes a novelty.
Sure.
But he's going to make 30 grand just by doing this. Just by sending a video.
You know what's great, though, about that? I mean, Undertaker doing our lead-in to Pro Wrestling Throwdown would be fantastic.
If I had $1,000 to blow, do not think for 1 second that I would not be one of those guys. Because I absolutely would. Speaking of The Undertaker, tomorrow night, Survivor Series, The Undertaker will be having his farewell, as the WWE is addressing it.
Yes.
We will see, obviously, The Undertaker has given us several farewells in the recent years, but it is interesting to note that his debut was at Survivor Series 30 years ago.
Yes.
It would be fitting for him to leave Survivor Series 30 years later if he's ready to get out of the business.
Agreed. I do think that he should put somebody over at Mania before leaving.
Who would you have him put over?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
The Fiend.
Yeah.
That's the only way to pass the torch.
I can agree with that.
I mean, if Finn Balor wasn't an NXT, I would say the Demon.
Yeah.
But you'll get more out of the Fiend.
I agree. Well, do you have any other news?
No, not so much. I believe that should cover the news this week.
Do you have any news?
No, but I would like to say Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about Randy Orton. We're going to get into this.
And his car now runs better.
Yeah. Max is the only person who got hit by a car and it fixed the engine problem. All right, guys. That closes us up for the news today. Make sure to check down below in our About section. We have links to our YouTube, to our Twitter, to our Twitch, to our Facebook, all the stuff, our email, Pro Wrestling Throwdown at gmail.com, Facebook at Pro Wrestling Throwdown, Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD. Obviously, find us on Twitch every Saturday, streaming live at twitch.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Pro Wrestling Throwdown at gmail.com is where you can send us emails with questions, comments, concerns, inquiries, and other what have you.
Girls' phone numbers from Max Fury.
From Max Fury. Hashtag Get Max a Date. Stay tuned. We have a packed show. Got a lot going on today. It's going to be a long one, but it's going to be a good one. And This Week in Wrestling coming up next.